Yes, we can get them to take the fly, but hanging on to them is another story.
The only thing is we have to throw the flies out on the water
That's
to
true.
get them to eat it. They'll eat them readily, but they just won't eat it with leader attached. So it's the only, if you see that one rise down there, it's a nice fish, really nice fish. So,
Is that a 2-mallard fish?
easy 2-mallard fish right there, Jim.
You will, because I want to avoid that.
Right.
Got another one. Oh, this is a bigger one. What are you laughing at?
It's the kind of picture that you see here on the screen.
Oh my goodness.
This has got a nice angle on it right here.
Yeah.
Okay, the fly's on the water. It's floating down perfectly. There you
Play by play.
Fish 3.
Fish 3.
Very
good.
Okay. There we go.
There we go. Great.
I've seen these fish, and they're all ranged in the 20 to 20, the bigger ones that you see in the 20 to 25 inch.
There's a fish right about straight that direction, right there, about 3 feet off the bank.
Really done.
The little one.
Hi, I'm Kelly Watt.
I'm Jim Watt. Welcome to Fly Fishing Video Magazine. We're at the Sun Valley Lodge in Sun Valley, Idaho, and we're here to explore the lifestyles of the not-so-rich but very famous trout of the Silver Creek.
We're going to show you why this famous resort area may well be the answer to the fishing and non-fishing couple's vacation dilemma. This is the place where one can fish and the other can play tennis, golf, horseback ride, or just relax in 100 different ways. And neither will feel left out.
It's a lot easier to catch a few rays or find a bargain or two than it is to catch the fish. But there's a challenge to both.
A challenge more than 8,000 fly fishers pursue here each year. Silver Creek is a meandering spring creek in southern Idaho, formed not far from here by the merging of 3 smaller spring creeks. It snakes its way through the high desert country for 25 miles, eventually flowing into the Big Wood River. The most well-known section of the creek, and that which holds the largest populations of trout, 2,000 per mile, is the area managed, nurtured, and preserved by the Nature Conservancy, a conservation organization dedicated to the preservation of a natural environment. To fish the Conservancy's 2 miles or so of Silver Creek, it is only necessary to sign in at the cabin to secure trespass rights. It's catch and release, fly fishing only, with barbless hooks. We persuaded Terry Ring to take a day off from running his fly and fashion shop in Ketchum to join us on the stream to give us a few pointers on fishing Silver Creek.
So at least there's a few fish rising.
Yeah, that's super. What does it look like they're taking?
You know, I really can't see it. It looks like there's some pale morning duns on the water, a few of them, but the ones I'm watching are going right by the fish. So there must be something very small, it looks like.
Looked like they were almost taking emergers or something.
No, I don't think that they're taking any emerger. Probably a spinner of some sort.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to start off by putting on a little, just general fly, just a little gulper special.
Gulper special.
Gulper special. I like it because I can see it. Got a little white tuff on top of it.
Yeah. How would this be?
Little green bottom. Perfect.
Okay.
Try it. And when we get out there, we'll look at the water and see what's going on.
What kind of flies typically do work the best here?
Well, it's primarily a mate fly stream.
Mm-hmm.
The primary hatches early in the year is pale morning dun and Baetis. Baetis is the #1 insect for the entire year. And typically in June, the hatches are a little bit inconsistent. You can't predict them from one day to another as to their intensity. And as the season goes on, it gets nothing but better. And in August and September, we'll get the trichos and the calabaetis, the Baetis, and we'll get the spinner falls in the morning, and there'll be literally 1 million insects on this stream every morning. You come out here at 7:30, 8 o'clock and fish till about 11 or 12, and every fish in the creek is just going like this. Every single one. And you can hear them.
What do you suppose the biggest fish in the stream is?
There's fish in the stream that'll go 6, 7, 8 pounds.
Gosh.
But I don't think that they're up eating insects on the surface like that. They're probably eating other fish. So they probably hang out under some of the deeper undercut banks and probably feed primarily at night. But every now and then you hear somebody will catch one on a grasshopper or something like that. One of our guides caught one 27 inches last year on a grasshopper. Just in the middle of the afternoon, the fish is out swimming around where it didn't really belong, and he slopped a cast out there. The fish saw it hit and charged 15 feet for it and ate it. And he was a happy boy.
I'll bet that was an exciting moment. Huh?
So, get your barb pinched?
I do.
I think a royal wolf is responsible for catching more fish in the West than any other fly. It's just a fabulous fly. The one thing that I like about the royal wolf is it's something that's easy to see.
That's what I like about it. There goes a little tiny mayfly right there.
Yeah. That's a little pale morning dun spinner. There's some little midges on the water, some little tiny Baetis spinners. What I usually try to do down here is come out with something I can see, and I'll put on like this gulper special because it's got the white wing. And it's a fairly realistic fly, but it's not a very specific fly.
Yeah.
So I'll see what I can do with these guys with this, and then if the fish don't take it, I'll go to something more realistic, more like what is on the water. But we'll see if they'll make our lives easy to start with.
I like that.
So we'll just kind of ease down here. A couple of nice fish feeding there.
Yeah.
I usually try to fish in water like this where I can get a float either slightly across and down. I'll try to I'll cast across stream and try to mend upstream to try to get the fly over the fish first.
The stream seems to be a little silty and then hard in places.
It's very silty, largely because of some poor agricultural practices in the past on the tributaries. This stream at one time was probably entirely a gravel bottom, and what they've done in agriculture in the last 40 years has caused siltation. They've corrected the problem, actually improved the siltation in the last 10 years, largely through the efforts of the Nature Conservancy.
Oh boy.
Isn't that a nice fish?
Big face came out.
There's so many weeds in here, and the bottom varies in depth so much that there's just millions of currents between us and the bank, and if we cast a perfectly straight fly line, it's going to drag the fly instantly. What I usually try to do is try to cast across, and then after I determine where the fly is going, I try to mend the line upstream.
Okay, now
So
I'll come to do it.
I'll come straight forward with the rod, and then after I get the fly, determine where it's going to go, then I move the line upstream, and it allows me to follow it down with my rod tip, and without making another mend, I've got a nice 15 or 20 foot float. In here, float is really critical. The weeds are so thick, and the variation in the depth of the bottom creates all these little microcurrents. So if you were to throw a perfectly straight fly line out there, as soon as it hits the water, it's going to drag. You don't have a chance. The fish down here have been fished over quite a bit, so the only way that you're going to succeed in fishing is to get a good float. So let me see, I'll cast across here. There's a fish over there. Across, and I'll mend. I'll let that slide down, and I'll give it a little more line. See, that current's moving just a little slower over there. So it gives us, in this instance, we're going to get about a 3 or 4 foot float, but there was a fish right over there, so float it over him and try not to drag the fly over him when we pick it up. I'll pick the fly up, try to false cast in a different direction so that I'm not always casting over the fish, and so that I don't make the water particles drop on the fish, and then we'll set it down again.
Boy, that's great. That drop foot below your leader.
If you try to end your cast too soon or cast with the butt of the rod, you can come down like this. It'll cast and go out there, but you don't have any control over where the fly goes. And in this situation, there's a little breeze that's going upstream, so every time I cast like that, the fly will curve upstream.
Yeah.
You get that downstream belly in the line, you don't have a float. You've got to get that fly downstream first to really succeed. The other way you can fish here very effectively is to fish directly upstream, and that's a way that a lot of people overlook.
Yeah.
Straight up over the top of the fish. So you want to try it first, Jim?
Sure.
Okay, let me get on this side of you.
Okay.
What I'd try to do is cast across and then mend upstream. What I usually try to do is pick a specific fish that we're going to work to and cast above the fish. As I set the cast out, I'm going to mend upstream and try to get the fly downstream first.
Okay.
That's a good mend. That was good.
Okay. I see my fish. Over him. I should have gone to that closer.
That's a nice fish.
Should have gone to the closer fish.
That's the biggest fish, is the one that you just went over.
Yeah.
So try, he's fairly stationary there. Try him.
Okay.
And just pick it up, put it right back down. Lower your rod tip. Now see, by having your rod tip up, you move the fly.
Oh, I see.
So by lowering your rod tip, you put more line on the water, and the fly floats down freely. These fish won't put up with drag down here. That's one thing that they won't do. And with all the weeds in the water, you've got to have a little slack in your line for it to float freely.
Still going over that fish, aren't I?
You're a little long. Let it drift down.
We'll go to the second one.
Got him. Good set, Jim. Good set.
At least one of the 2,000 fish in the stream was interested
Think I
in
was a little
Jim's
behind it?
parachute pale morning dun. The Conservancy stretch
That's a
of
nice
Silver
fish.
Creek,
It is.
incidentally,
Good job.
has the most prolific hatches of any stream in the world. It's
Well,
particularly
maybe he'll go back to the
fun
left
fishing
like he's
Silver
doing.
Creek with a light rod. And since there's no wind this morning, Jim got to try out our new Orvis one-way. It appears to
Does this
cast
always happen to
beautifully
you?
and handles the fish well, too.
Okay, don't put too much pressure on it.
Fishing Silver Creek is a real learning experience, and it can be
This is
extremely
not-
challenging
this is
for the
not
newcomer. As with any piece of new water, we recommend
That's a nice
hiring a
fish.
guide,
Sure is.
at least for a half-day trip, so you can become familiar with the creek and go to school, so to speak, from the guide's knowledge and experience.
They got good energy.
Terry's
They'll usually
company,
jump
Silver
like that.
Creek Outfitters, runs an exaggerated
Nice fish.
half-day, 5 or 6 hours, for $145 for 2 persons, or $185 for a full day. Quite frankly, we had heard how tough the fishing was on Silver Creek and only tried it last year for the first time with a guide. And we had a good time and caught fish as well. Later in the show, we'll meet that guide. He's full of surprises. As Terry mentioned earlier, the most prolific hatches occur in August and September. We made the show in late June and thought the fishing was excellent. So later in the season must be extraordinary. However, we understand there are a lot more people on the stream at that time as well. It's your choice. Fewer hatches and people earlier in the season, or massive hatches and more people later in the season. Of course, you should probably try both just to see which you prefer.
I usually try to get them upstream if I can. There you go.
Come on up here, little guy.
I don't think he thinks you're very pretty.
Isn't
Nice job.
that beautiful?
Hey,
That's just gorgeous.
look at the color on the gill plate. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Matches my shirt.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Is that why you wear that shirt?
Absolutely. Color coordinate with the fish. Nice going.
That was fun. Pretty. Thank you very much, little fish.
Not bad, Jim.
Since the Gulper Special is so special, we asked our friend Chris Clayman to show us how to tie it.
The hook we're going to use is a Tiemco 100, size number 16. We're going to use some Danville pre-waxed 6/0 thread. Take a little of this polypropylene dubbing and we're going to use kind of a yellow olive mixture, but you could use just about any color poly dubbing. After you put on your little poly ball, and what we're going to use now is some microfibets. They're kind of a monofilament tail material. It does a really good job of matching the delicate tails of a mayfly. The little ball that you put in the back is going to force them apart, so it'll spread them out just like a mayfly's tail. And then we're going to take some white polypro yarn, and you tie it on right about mid-shank, facing forward. Then you could just wrap right back to the tail and put on some more dubbing. Now you could tie the Sculptor Special in just about any color you like, this being a good match of the Pale Morning Dun, but if a person wanted to tie it to match, let's say, a Calabates Mayfly, which is also seen at Silver Creek area on Sullivan, you could tie it in gray, just about on the same hook length, or you could tie it with an 18. Okay, what we're going to do now is tie on our hackle facing forward with the hackle points pointing down. This way they'll be pointing towards the water, and then we'll take our hackle and wrap it around the white poly post that we've made. We're going to make about 2 or 3 wraps. You don't need a whole heck of a lot.
And it's just around the poly and not around the hook.
Just around the poly. So we've made about 3 wraps there. We're going to take and tie it off now. Be careful not to tie down all of our hackles. And you could use a lower grade hackle, let's say a number 2 or a number 3, which are a little less expensive, and they'll work just fine. You can tie that down there, pull off a little bit more poly yarn, and wrap that right underneath there and make a head. Clip off these stray hackles here, take our whip finish, and tie off, clip off our thread, make sure our hackles are down, and it helps to take and put a drop of lacquer right on top of the hackle around the post to keep it from unraveling. And there you have it, the Gulper Special.
Silver Creek has a variety of personalities, from the slow-moving water we were fishing before to faster water below a rancher's irrigation diversion dam, to almost still water above the small dam, where float tubes are a perfect method for fishing for cruising, feeding trout.
All right, here it is, the arena.
Below the dam is where Kelly and guide Mike Rydell have decided to try their luck. Mike is the guide we mentioned earlier that is full of surprises. He's a transplanted Los Angeles ad man who decided life in the fast lane was far less attractive than that of Sun Valley. He kept claiming to us that his guiding was his real line of work, but most in the community think of him under his other hat as publisher-editor of the very slick quarterly Sun Valley magazine, plus the Sun Valley Directory.
When there is not a hatch, are there any basic guidelines?
Well, yeah, there would, attractor patterns. In this stream, it's so hatch-oriented that maybe it's, a smart thing to do is to repair to the local bar. But attractors do work, royal humpies, yellow humpies. There's a fish that goes right there.
Right at the edge of the slick?
Uh-huh. Right where there's a little bit of foam there, see? Where the foam's hitting the fast water.
Imagine our surprise on our first trip to Sun Valley. We hire a guide through Silver Creek Outfitters, and he turns out to be a publisher as well as an excellent guide. Our friendship developed quickly, and we've become more fishing partners than guide and client. He's also the one who made the arrangements for our trip to do this show on Silver Creek. Since there is no discernible hatch coming off, and it's too early to repair to the bar, Mike's going to toss a weighted black woolly bugger upstream into the fast current and try to dredge one off the bottom, a technique that has proved successful more than once in this hole. Kelly is using a number 14 blonde humpy and a tractor pattern on top, since she saw a couple of fish working on the surface in the current seam on her side of the creek. When you can't figure out on what it is the fish are feeding, an attractor like a humpy or royal wolf is a good bet. It's extremely pleasant fishing Silver Creek at this time of year. 75 to 85 degrees, beautiful sunshine in a pretty high desert setting. Spring Creek fishing is a special experience where the quality of your time spent on the stream is most often the reward, rather than the numbers and even the size of the fish brought to hand.
I'm fishing a black leech. Ooh, there's a little fish following it, about twice the size as the fly. This has got a lot of lead in it. It goes deep. Try to fish it upstream, let it sink, get low, and then start retrieving and putting some action to it. That water we're fishing there is way over my head. I've swum in that. So it's 9 feet, 10 feet certainly down there. And you try to get part of the way down, and there's a slab of concrete. So there must have been the dam must have been built out of concrete, or it's a spillway that they put in here. And the big fish are back underneath that slab. And if they happen to be out, you can get fish on streamers. If they aren't out, why, it's as if nobody's home. Story of my life. All right.
Kelly's blonde humpy has done the trick. Incidentally, the rod she's using is a 9-foot 4-weight Sage RP2. She has a 14-foot leader with a 5X tippet. Matching the hatch is a fun, problem-solving experience, but I think it's just as satisfying to fool him with an attractor when nothing else seems to be working. When there is a good hatch, or several of them occurring at once, Spring Creek fishing becomes another sort of game, and one that can prove extremely frustrating at times, especially if you can't figure out what the fish are keying on. On the other hand, when you meet the task, match the hatch and fool a fish which has a brain the size of a pea, it's great fun, and the 20-some-odd miles of Silver Creek offer up a multitude of opportunities to match our superior intellect with that of the wily trout.
Thank you. Look at those great spots. There you go. And now here's Bill Martz with his angling tip.
What are you going to show us this time, Bill?
I brought tools of the trade, gadgets, in other words.
We all like gadgets.
Sure, and especially fly fishermen and fishermen in general. They love gadgets. This is a tie-fast knot tire. Get a little commercial in for these people. And what I found with this is that people have a real tough time with knots. Real hard time with knots. And when most people are learning how to fish, they lose their first fish because of knots. 90% of the time, it's the knots the reason.
I've lost a lot of them because of
Well, I have too. And even after I first started learning, I still lose them, and occasionally to knots, but less and less often so now. This is a good way and a fast way to change leaders. If you need to change leader material or butt material onto your fly line. Some people will not do it. They'll put up with it and put up with it. And after a while in fishing, the very end of the fly line can start cracking. The material can start cracking and get very weak there. So you need to replace it every so often.
Well, you don't change it because you have to tie a nail on it.
That's exactly right.
And they're very hard to tie.
And somebody probably at the sporting goods store tied that first one for you in the first place.
Why change it?
That's right.
Until you get one of these tools, right?
Until you see one of these tools. Okay, let me show you how. This is the butt material here. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold the tool in my left hand. I'm going to bring the material through these two uprights, over this bar, and then down through this notch in this channel here. Right up over, and bring my thumb down across that bar to hold this line in place. There's about a foot of line past the end, so I can hang on to it. Got the line down through the channel. I'm going to wrap it toward my thumb 5 times close together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And use my finger to hold all those turns on the channel. I'll bring the butt section, the tip of the butt section, underneath all the wraps and away from my thumb. The fly line goes underneath all those wraps. Hold on to the line tight. I pull on it, just like so. And there it is. Now, it's not done yet. It'll usually come off with a little bit of wraps not evenly turned on the line. And you don't want to tighten it up yet. You want to smooth those together. I just use my fingernails and pull those so they're nice and snug. And hold on to the butt section here and the fly line together with the rest of the butt section. Give that a good tug, like this. Then let go of the butt section with the right hand. Just hold on the fly line and the butt section here. Trim the line in close. Trim the butt section back here. And there you have it. Perfect nail knot. This is one gadget that is an effective tool. My name is Bill March. That's the angling tip for this show.
This is the rugged west coast of the South Island of New Zealand. It's not only halfway around the world from Silver Creek in Idaho, it's also in the southern hemisphere. So when the weather is turning its face to winter in Idaho, springtime is smiling on New Zealand. And the spring creek fishing on the South Island is a featured attraction and sometimes main event at Lake Brunner Lodge. The lodge is located about 3 hours drive from Christchurch, or as a pleasant alternative, you can take a train, which is about a 4-hour trip and saves the expense of a rental car. Lake Brunner Lodge was built as a fishing resort back in the early 30s, fell into disrepair until 3 years ago when present owners Ray Grubb and Marion Vandergoes restored it to its original grandeur. While Marion keeps track of lodge activities, Ray is guiding on spring creeks, like this one owned by Brian Rothery, Brunner Lodge's nearest neighbor. Larry Travis, a friend, cinematographer, and part-time fishing guide, came along to give us an extra hand. Brian, incidentally, is the one wearing the flesh-colored knee-high waders, the latest in New Zealand's fishing fashion. Guides in New Zealand don't seem to wear waders. Ray just looks like he's wearing waders. It's really long underwear with rain pants over and wading shoes. Definitely not the way we do it in the U.S. This is a wicca bird. It doesn't fly and adds an element of interest as you poke through the brush along the edge of the spring creek. Brian says it's related to a wren. In contrast to Idaho, this area is nearly a rainforest. They get about 120 inches of rain per year. But since it is nearly jungle, the creeks stay relatively clean and recover quickly from the rain. This is a freshwater eel moving down the middle of the stream. They can be a nuisance when they spook your fish.
What we're using is a 14, 15-foot leader, which is not a problem because the theory is all we're doing is taking out insurance. You only need to turn over 1 in 10 and you're going to get your fish. But what it does is keeps the line well back from the fish. And we're using a dry fly Royal Wolf as an indicator, about 3 feet back from the nymph. That's a standard pattern. If we're fishing real shallow, I mean, what we're doing is taking out a system which says that we're going to give ourselves one shot at a fish. That's the philosophy that you work on. And so you're going to find the best possible set of options. We think it may take a dry fly. We're certain it'll take a nymph.
What kind of a nymph?
This is a homegrown design. It's a hair and copper derivative. We tie them with a wing case, fairly lightly weighted. Without a wing case, fairly heavily weighted for obvious reasons. This fellow I'm just putting on at the moment as a holding fly, and we'll set up for each individual fish as we go up the river. Because you can see the fish, you tend to work on them individually, each one by name: Fred, Myrtle, George, Ethel.
It's more of a problem-solving
Yeah.
task.
Yeah, it's a hunting exercise. You're hunting the fish in exactly the same way as you'd hunt a deer or a duck, in a sense. You find them, You sort out exactly where they're feeding, what feeding pattern they're holding, what sort of lie they're holding in. Sometimes you can watch them for up to half an hour to work out exactly how you're going to get at them. Turn over a few stones, work out what's around, and then pick them up on what you think is the best individual option. This river is real dirty by our standards.
Dirty by their standards is almost crystal clear by ours, and the fish are easily spotted. Ray understated the hunting aspect of this fishing. The guide precedes the client looking for a specific fish, then instructs the angler on approach, fly, etc. It's an exciting and very enjoyable style of fishing that is no more or less challenging than our Spring Creek fishing.
I get bad glare along this bank, Brian. Is that a fish over the far bank against that weed bed?
No, it's not.
Right.
Yes, there's one right down here in front of me, and he's just drifting back, he's feeding. He's right in against the bank here.
Okay, dry fly?
Well, I would drift one down to start off with, yes. Oh, there's another one moved down. They're moving about bad. About 5 feet in front of me, and let it drift down there. Close to this bank. Nice. Another 4 or 5 feet up there. Oh, he's gone. They tend to do that in here.
Bad luck, as the New Zealanders are wont to say. But there are more opportunities to be had, in this case just around the bend.
That's good casting. That'll get them if you can get it up there like that.
There's a fish straight down the centre of us. We've just spooked him. He's just moving upstream.
There's about 2 or 3 here, and they're just never going to catch them, right?
The subtropical vegetation can make getting just around the bend a bit arduous at times. Spring Creek fishing requires a lot of stealth and patience, particularly when you're entering a still pool. The wake your body causes, if it reaches the fish, will often spook them.
Just off the end of those 2 dark bits of weed there.
It's about a foot back and 6 feet out. We'll have a cast for distance first, distance and line. Put one on the water. Right, perfect distance, in fact, a fraction long, and about 4 feet too far this way. Lovely. It landed a foot above the trout's head. You are actually 2 inches to the left. Sorry, that's a 1.5 feet, 2 feet to the right, that one. You're well short there. Lovely cast.
Got him. Oh.
Slow, it's got to be slow. That was beautiful. That was absolutely wonderful to watch.
Missing fish happens to the best of fly fishers, particularly on New Zealand spring creeks. First, the water is so clear you can see the fish coming. And second, they seem to take the fly slower than their North American counterparts, which requires pausing a beat to set the hook. Plus, most of us are not used to the coaching of the guide, so that takes getting accustomed to as well.
What we try and do is stay out of the water as much as humanly possible. There is a very good fish straight in front of me. Now, what I'd like you to do is come out of the water and come up to this log. All right.
That's a beauty.
If you look up the edge, straight up from that log in front of you, that tree stump, you'll see...
Oh my gosh.
You see him?
I see.
He's a beauty, isn't he?
Right on the left-hand edge?
Yes.
It's a nice fish. I want you... You're going to have to put the fly about a foot in front of him. That is
on the left.
Not where he was lying a moment ago. He's actually dropped back into that little bit of shadow.
Can you see him still?
Yeah.
Good.
What I suggest you do is just... I'm not sure you need to get in the water.
No, I would do it from there.
Yep. In fact, no, I think if you go in behind that stump, you'll get a better drift, Brian. And no worries about getting snagged on your drift. Go very quietly, walk in.
Can you see the trout at all or not? Not down there.
So that you're casting from the right-hand edge of that stump. Oh, that's about average. That'll do. Just stay as still as you can now for a moment. Those ripples shouldn't have reached the fish, but I just want to make sure he's not disturbed. You'll see the current is flowing slightly from the left, right?
Where that leaf's coming now, he's
He's
just...
under it
Yeah.
now. That's where you want your cast. A foot ahead of where that leaf was. You see it? Go to it. He followed, yes!
It's a good trout, that one. Well done. Good cast.
Beautiful, beautiful fishing.
Hooking 1 out of 3 fish cast to is still above average on this creek, we are told. And the hunt and stalk are what spring creek fishing in New Zealand is all about. Spring creek fishing is definitely a cerebral pursuit anytime. And when you increase the size of the fish to 4+ pounds, add spotters and coaches, and see the fish coming up with its mouth open and grab your fly, it becomes even more interesting. Kelly was using an Orvis 2-weight Western Series rod, which is perfect for this creek. It also happens to be Ray's favorite as well, although he uses a 3-weight line on his model. Kelly's leader is 18 feet long with a 5X tippet, and the fly that worked was a number 16 Adams. Turning over those long leaders can be interesting, particularly when you're using a heavily weighted nymph, which is often the second fly you present to the fish if a dry doesn't work. Cost per day for fishing and accommodations at Brunner are about $175 per person, figuring double occupancy, including meals, and 2 fishers with the guide. So for 5 days of fishing, airfare, transportation, etc., it's going to cost about $2,600.
Come back out of the water, please, and just working quietly up on the bank. Watch out for snags.
Yeah. That's good movement for...
Beautiful fish. Come back down and we'll just work him into this little shallow piece here. Watch out for the snags. And what I want you to do is just walk him up on the top of that stuff when you can.
Here it comes.
Now in this beach here. I'll fight you at the bank, so watch for a sudden run. So you can take him upstream into that beach. Now, beach him.
To land the fish, Ray has added an interesting touch.
Beach him.
He uses a piece of nylon stocking around his hand, which allows him to grip the fish's tail without slipping. And as you can see, it seems to work.
Isn't that lovely?
Beautiful.
Okay. Back in the water.
Yes, definitely. Coming right upstream.
A perfect way to close our segment on New Zealand's spring creeks. Coming up next, Kelly with the Angling News.
Of interest to fly fishers, 3M, in partnership with Aquafield Publishing, recently announced the introduction of Fly Fishing Quarterly magazine. As the name implies, it will appear 4 times a year and promises a fresh look at familiar subjects, plus new and interesting topics and authors. They're offering charter subscriptions for $11.95 a year. Their timing is excellent, since the latest report we have says fly fishing is the country's fastest growing sport. A new survey shows that in 1987, nearly 2 million Americans fly fished more than 25 days, and 10.5 million fly fished at least once in the same period. Well, that's the news. Coming up in the next issue of Fly Fishing Video Magazine, Atlantic sailfish and white marlin in the Caribbean near Isla Mujeres, Mexico. This is an action-packed program filled with information on how that fleet's #1 fly charter boat captain, Scott Stanzik, his brother Richard, and their crew fool these majestic creatures. We'll also have a tying lesson to learn how to tie the hot fly on the trip. Now back to Idaho with Jim and a Fly Fishing Video Magazine close-up.
Float tube fishing has become popular over the past few years, and we found a product that adds a new dimension to that sort of fishing. It's called a kick boat. This is what it looks like when it's deflated, and how you can haul it around to whatever location you'd like to fish, and this is what it looks like when it's ready to go. It has 2 pontoons, inflatable pontoons, with 2 air chambers each on each side, and a solid platform on which you sit to paddle around. One of the things that we found attractive about the boat was the fact that you sit up out of the water and it makes it easier to propel yourself. Even in a stream like this that has a little current, you can move right along upstream if you have to. So once you get the thing put together, put your flippers near the creek, pick this little rascal up. Don't stick your rod tip in the water, like that. And then just slip right in. It sits nice and high in the water too, so if you'd like to use it for duck hunting or something like that, you don't have much of your body under the water surface. So anyway, once you get in the water, you slip your flippers on. It's a lot easier in shallower water, but we thought we'd make this a comedy show and try to do it in deep water. So anyway, once you get in the water, you put your flippers on. Turn around, put yourself up onto the platform. And there you go. The versatility of this craft is also very attractive. They make a motor mount that you can put on the back here for a small electric motor, or actually a small gasoline motor. I'm out in the main current of this stream and staying even with it with very little flipper motion. Reach down into the current, take big heavy kicks, and you can move upstream. I don't think you'd want to do it all day, but it gives you an idea of how easy it is to maneuver. Brooks Bolden at the Angler's Edge in Houston, Texas manufactures the kick boat. At the end of the program, we'll have details on how you can get in touch with them for more information. That's our Fly Fishing Video Magazine close-up. Now back to Silver Creek.
And a look at another of the many facets of the jewel, Silver Creek. This is what is known as Sullivan's Ponds, formed by seepage from Silver Creek and a few other springs. It's a still water fishery that holds a phenomenal number of beautiful, large, and extremely hard to catch rainbows. Being able to see the fish from the road just adds to the temptation. It's a challenge to catch a fish in an environment that is so still and clear. Few meet the challenge, and even fewer are successful at actually hooking a trout here. The nemesis of Sullivan's Ponds is Terry Ring, whom you met earlier in the program.
Let's just kind of walk up real slow. Let's walk up over here. There's a couple of fish I think that are going to be fairly close. Mm-hmm. And we'll just look, watch the fish, and this is like going to the movies. It all unfolds right in front of you. You know, it's entertaining for me to just sit here and watch these fish. Yeah. And you can just see there's one out there now. It's just kind of cruising around.
God, that's a big fish.
It's a nice fish, really nice fish. So.
Is that a 2-mallard fish?
Easy 2-mallard fish right there, Jim.
Jim and Terry slowly moved out into the pond and began their assault. Jim wisely deferred to Terry the honors of rod handling. The number of fish in the ponds is hard to measure, but educated estimates range from 1 to 200. You can, on a good day, catch maybe 5 or 6 fish, and on others, never touch one.
As far as a spring creek goes, it's very much a classic spring creek. It has more insects in it per square meter than any other spring creek, or any other stream for that matter, in the world. So you have that diversity of insect life, so consequently you'll have great trout fishing, because trout like insects. Where there's insects, I think you're going to find good fishing. He just charged it, but he's never opened his mouth. Oh, look at that wake down there.
Oh,
see that?
boy.
Need a few more bugs on the water. See these calabatus dancing up and
Yeah.
down? Calabatus spinner. It's a type
Boy,
of
those are
mayflies.
big.
Speckled mayfly, about a 16.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the primary insect in here. It'll hatch all the way into the fall. Looks kind of like an Adams. It's got a gray body and a very speckled wing. So they're doing their spinner dance now, going back to the water to lay their eggs after they've mated. See, that fish went up under that dun, and the dun's still there. Was that a refusal on a natural? They will do that. There we go, there we go. Ha ha! Oh! I love it when they eat the fly. See if I can keep them out of the woods, out of the weeds there. Sometimes it takes a while, but it can be pretty rewarding. Oh. God, they're beautiful fish, aren't they? Absolutely gorgeous. Will he do? Oh, look at that. God, what a nice fish. Unhook him. God, look at the color. There is not a mark on that fish. I think we'll let him go.
Now that's the kind of fish that makes Sullivan's Pond so exciting. This is a few minutes later, after they moved a ways.
I thought he was going to take it.
Yeah.
He did.
Yes, he did.
I just didn't know it.
He was on it. I knew it. He still doesn't know he's hooked.
No, he's going to get pissed here in a minute. Come on, fish. You can do better than that. I don't know who was more surprised, me or him.
I told you he was taking it.
God, he's on it. Yeah, oh, hit the hook.
Is there any particular kind of strike you're waiting for?
Well, as soon as I woke up. For Sex Centipede, I'm usually lucky that I don't see him take it, Jim.
Well, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
If I would have known he had it, I would have left the fly on his lips for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, let's see if we can get this one to jump.
He sure doesn't want to do that, does he?
He's kind of lazy compared to that last one. Look at the color, though. God, they're pretty.
Oh, boy.
They're absolutely beautiful. That is a nice fish. Okay, buddy.
Boy, it's just huge.
Isn't that a nice fish?
Look at the head on it.
It's pretty good size. Big male.
Pretty. How long would you say?
Over 20.
Yeah. Sure pretty.
I've got some guides that never catch fish under 20 inches, so I'm always suspect of fish length.
Well, little guy, you go back there and make some more.
Isn't that a great fish? Beautiful color. I love to let him go. Always makes me feel good.
It's as big a thrill as catching them.
You bet. You know, that way we can come back tomorrow, we can catch him again. You know, and just kind of preserve the resource. So maybe you'll even catch one.
I might
So
try.
keep trying.
And now here's our critic at large, Don Dunkel.
My vacation this year produced an unforgettable moment at a campground in California. Having already fished the Bow, the Madison, the Henry's Fork, I wasn't looking for anything better, just a place to rest on the drive to L.A. Robinson Creek Campground is a pleasant place. It's filled mostly with grandmas and grandpas whose lifestyle is nomadic. 35-foot fifth-wheelers are everywhere. Most have AstroTurf yards. You know the type. Robinson Creek itself flows out of Twin Lakes, once the home of the state's record brown trout, now a quiet place, except, of course, when school's out, which is no discredit to the stream. After a good night's sleep, a gargantuan breakfast, and a stroll along the creek, I was about to indulge in a mid-morning nap when, what to my horrified eyes did appear but a fish and game tanker. It aroused my worst fear. Now, I know it's not Christmas, but bear with me, okay? If I'm going to tell you the story, I'd like to tell it my way. Right through the campground, that truck huffed and puffed, no doubt its chrome innards with planter trout stuffed. A comely young lady, all turned out in green, got out of the truck, went down to the stream. Her sidekick, most macho, a ranger as well, grabbed a hose, turned a spigot, and out the fish fell. In the hundreds, they floated there, just near the top. And the next thing I knew, there was need of a cop. From their campers and cars and their four-wheel drives came a thundering herd of fishers like hives. More rapid than beagles came running this bunch. And a twinkling of rod tips confirmed my worst hunch. Over tables and benches and grassland they tramped. On crocus and wildflower, on stream bed they stamped. I'm Joe Bob, I'm Marty, over here Annabelle. You miss out on this chance and you'll go straight to, well... There were elbows and jostling, and they vied for position. God help the latecomer to this expedition. They flailed at the water with lead weights and worm, used enough soft Velveeta to make Mighty Mouse squirm. With each catch there arose from this group quite a shout. Why, the setting of hooks turned the fish inside out. No pity, no mercy, no compassion was shown as this gentle group's cover was most publicly blown. After 15 minutes of madness and strife, most limited out put the fish to the knife. I'll do that, yells Joe Bob. You go back down there and fish. Before you run down there, could you get me a dish? And so on and so forth. It went on, and the nap that I'd planned was past due. So I yawned. Could be, after all, that it's me and not they. Was a grouch and a grump, just too dumb to play. Since my tax-paying dollars supported this bash, should I learn to enjoy my own plate of trout hash? Am I missing the point? Am I playing out of touch, that I view this as silly or equally such? Well, when they finished, as you and I might have guessed, they left mountains behind them where they'd littered and messed. Beer cans and plastic and enough styrofoam charge to offset next month's budget for their pinochle cards. So if you're going fishing, and you've got just a week, whatever you do, don't fish Robinson Creek. I'm Don Dunkel, that's what I think. How about you?
One of the many attractions to Silver Creek, other than the trout and the fishing, is staying at the Sun Valley Lodge. Year-round ice skating and evening skating shows, plus luxurious outdoor brunches, are just a few of the special activities you find here. The Lodge is steeped in history and is and has been the rendezvous for the rich and famous. Film stars, as well as dukes and duchesses, have considered Sun Valley home away from home at one time or another. We stayed at the Lodge on this trip, and it's a comfortable, affordable place to stay while fishing Silver Creek. If your family doesn't share your passion for fishing, there's plenty to keep them entertained in Sun Valley and nearby Ketchum. Golf, tennis, and horseback riding, just to name a few. The shopping in Ketchum, Sun Valley's nearest neighbor, is another diversion for the non-fisher. Silver Creek Outfitters is the centerpiece of Ketchum as far as we're concerned. Others may argue that point, but if you come here to fish, this is where you'll find yourself looking at one of the largest retail selections of flies in the world, or at some newly acquired prints someone has brought in to show off, or talk to a new and enthusiastic fly fisher.
I have never fly fished before. This is my first adventure. Yeah. My husband's been fly fishing. He goes all over the place, but I have never been.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll make this into a family sport yet, huh?
Oh, God, I hope
no
so.
problem.
I know that my daughter's going to go crazy when I tell her that I've fished, especially if I catch something.
I've dragged her all the way to
We've been in Vancouver for salmon.
Queen Charlotte Straits.
Yeah.
Big salmon. Girls are fishing so much more. We've got, I bet 20% of the trips we take are just girls.
Really?
We had one trip today that was 2 women. We've got, you're going out with Liza today, and she's been a guide for 7 or 8 years. So.
Fly fishing is what Ketchum is all about at this time of year. Here are a few pretty pictures of the ones we might have caught.
See him take that nymph there? I don't know how to try a nymph.
We hope you've enjoyed the program. Hatches like this are what make Silver Creek and the Silver Creek Preserve truly special places.
For those of you who are joiner doers, we'll have information on how to contact the Nature Conservancy in just a few minutes. Not only is the Conservancy a preservationist organization, they've provided us with tremendous support for this and other production efforts.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next Fly Fishing Video Magazine.
So long.
I'm going to catch a fish right here in the stand.
Fly Fishing Video Magazine is a bi-monthly series of videos available at many dealers throughout the country. Back issues of Fly Fishing Video Magazine are available. For more information, call 1-800-327-2893 or write Fly Fishing Video Magazine, 4853, 152nd Place Southeast, Bellevue, Washington, 98006.